Hi guys, welcome to MVB Life Empowerment Sessions. So the last time we were here, somebody wanted to know who we are, tell you a little bit about ourselves before we go in. I will let him introduce himself because one of the comments was, who are you to each other, right? So please tell the people so they know.
All right, so my name is George. I am the husband, I'm the owner, and I own her. It's like, yeah.
Hey, he's the husband and he owes me. Okay, he's the head of the household, guys. So this is my husband, George Coffee Boateng, the fine boy next to me. And I'm Molini Vereri Boateng, the wife. So basically, this platform, MVB Life Empowerment Sessions, is just our names combined. My name, his name, and his last name. That's why it's MVB, Life Empowerment Sessions. And basically, this was formed to empower people, to give people hope, to give people answers to real life questions, real life situations. So if you do happen to have a topic in mind that you want us to address, kindly leave comments and we will do our best to research and get you the right information to talk about so that your relationships, your life, your livelihood will be all wholesome, because that's what it's all about, wisdom and wellness. I don't know if there's anything else you would like to share with the people about the platform.
Just like you said, it's all about sharing our experience and the things that we have learned, and then we are also learning.
Right.
So, like what we have learned and what we are learning, and letting people that also going through it or that are about to take the same step also know there are ways. Like I always say, there are some mistakes that we don't have to do.
Repeat.
There are some mistakes that we don't have to do. Some people have already taken that step.
Right.
They have already took that journey. So learning from them, learning from their mistakes, learning from what they did right, it will help you to enhance your life, and you will avoid so many things that you experience. I know most people say experience is the best teacher, but it's not supposed to always be.
Right.
You know, somebody might have the experience, but the result of it is like you don't have to go through it for, if it took someone 6 years, you can learn the mistakes and learn what he did right,
Right.
and then cut out all those 6 years and just make it like a month or a year.
Right.
That will save you a lot in the long run.
Exactly. So we believe in empowering people and helping people be the best versions of themselves. So like my husband said, there are things that you can get quick answers to, not have to go lifetimes trying to figure out if there is somebody that can assist you. So we share what we learn, and our biggest teacher is God. And then we have people that are around us, families, parents, brothers and sisters, friends that are learning life, and other couples that are also learning how to grow, and empower. So for now, it's just the two of us. So when we get to the next phase where we have the little ones running around, we will also be looking for more information from people like that. But on this channel, we aim to bring people that will talk to you and give you life skills, should I say,
That's right.
answers and solutions, because that's what we want. We don't want to suffer. Do you want to suffer?
Nobody wants
I don't
that.
want to suffer. I don't know about you people, but me, as a matter of fact, I reject suffering.
We all do.
All right. So anyway, that's all about us. In case you were wondering what this is all about, because I know we put it in the captions, but not everybody has time to read everything, right? So with that said, we're going to jump into the topic of the day. So I want to talk about building solid relationships. In this case, with your spouse or with somebody that you are dating and planning to marry and live the rest of your life with, right? Okay, so I'm going to ask Mr. Boateng, can you share with the people, because your experience is different from mine, how do you continue to have good, a solid relationship with your partner?
So I'm sure like a lot of people have said this, that relationship, like the key factor is communication.
Right.
All right. So any form of relationship that you find yourself, like friendship, any relationship that you find yourself in, and if you're already married and you are trying to find answers to things, I think the best way to start it is communicating, talking, communicating, talking. There are different ways that people communicate. There are different ways people talk and share their, like, their frustrations, their excitement, and their joy.
Right.
But being able to know how to relate to the person in terms of communicating your emotions, communicating your thought and your plans to the person, I think that is the first thing to do. That is like the beginning of everything. Knowing how to talk to the person. I think if I'm able to express myself to me, how I feel, and also translate that same feeling and understanding to you, I think we will both get to a point, even if you don't agree with what I'm saying, you will know how to really deal with me. So the first thing is knowing how to communicate, knowing how to talk to the person. Then from there, like, there are other things that really comes up, but the first thing that I would say is any form, if it's friendship, if it's like courtship, any form of in like personal relationships that you have, the first thing is knowing how to relate, knowing how to talk to them, like communicate. Yeah.
So communication is key. And then one thing I'm learning now is communication does not necessarily mean just you expressing your thoughts and your feelings. It's a two-way street.
Definitely. Yeah.
So the main key thing is also be a proactive listener, right? So you need proactive listening to be able to communicate, because you could talk, but the person, if they're not hearing and understanding you, you just sound like wang, 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 wang. You're making noise in the person's ears, right? So with that said, what do you do when your partner's voice sounds like they're making noise and you just put up a wall, like
so
like, I don't want to have this conversation?
So we are human. We get to a stage in life where, like, the person that you are with, it's like you have had enough of the person.
Right. Exactly.
So that being said, that does not mean you don't have to communicate to the person.
Right.
So communicating, like, in my understanding is like you also added, is me being able to tell you. And I find this, I don't know if I read it or heard it somewhere, that if you are able to talk to a grade, like, let's say grade 5 child, like, just, like, if I can explain myself to you like I'm explaining to like a child, like a 5-6-year-old, right? That alone, everybody should understand that I'm telling this 5-6-year-old boy, this when you do, you are going to hurt yourself. This when you do, you are going to be better in your life. So keep these things. If I'm able to explain it for that 5-6-year-old to get what I'm trying to say, and I'm able to use this same understanding to talk to my partner or the person that I'm in that relationship with, I'm sure the person will get to where I'm coming from. So yeah, there are some moments that you keep repeating yourself so much that the person don't really get to hear what you're saying, and the person is going to be frustrated. which is expected, because it's like the same thing that is being repeated. But my own observation is repeating the same thing, maybe sometimes you are also overlooking certain progress. It might not be as much, the value of that progress is not really big to be seen, and that is why you keep repeating these same things. So yeah, it's good. I'm not saying like people don't.
You're putting me on blast, y'all.
People don't say things, but it's like you keep saying the same thing, right?
Right.
But there has been just a minute,
Minute
like change,
improvement.
right, in the person, but it's just you are looking at a bigger picture and haven't seen that little change, so you keep going back to the same thing, and somewhere people get to be like, with all the effort that I'm putting in, you still
Yeah.
don't see, but you keep seeing the things
The
that I'm
other
not
things.
seeing, and that is where like communication becomes a bit like hard and difficult to deal with.
Right.
You know.
And I think like with relationships, because we're talking about building solid relationships, right? So what happens is we come into relationships with expectations
Yeah.
of each other, right? And then when you're in there, then you realize that these expectations you have of the other individual and the expectations they have of you, they need work. You need to work on those expectations to be able to materialize them or come to fulfillment, should I say.
Yeah.
So that's why communication is so important, because sometimes I'll use myself, I'll repeat things over and over and over, and I'll repeat it because I'm waiting for a response, right? So when my husband over here, this fine bubble, he don't respond to me, in my head, I'm like, he has not heard me. So I will repeat the same thing. But over the course of time, I've grown to know that he heard it, but he didn't respond with the answer that I wanted because he's working on getting the answer. So in relationships, another key factor to support the communication is, which he's now also learning, to give some kind of answer so that the person knows that that the topic is not being ignored, but it's work in progress. And also, you as a person, you have to be realistic of your expectations of the other person, because it takes time. So like what he's saying is like, learn to appreciate little improvements, because that really makes your relationship or solid.
Definitely.
Appreciate each other in little steps.
Yeah.
So besides communication, patience, what else would you say keeps relationships solid?
Finances does.
Yes.
Yeah, money does.
Break it down.
Yeah. Because the world we live in, you can't do anything without money. Yeah, you can love, you can submit, you can do everything, but when the finances don't add up, it makes life hard.
And responsibilities need to
and
be handled, yeah.
and it makes emotions becomes really hard to deal with. So knowing your financial state,
Right.
like what I know now is different from what I knew before, and I heard this from one YouTube video, if I'm not mistaken. It's like a YouTube video, and then this is what the person said: if you are single and you are about to get married,
Right.
know how much you get paid or how much your expenses are, you by
Yeah.
yourself, right? So if I'm spending, let's say, $20 a month by myself, I should know that bringing in another person into my life,
Gonna bump it.
it's not going to be the same $20, even if the person is independent on
Right.
his or her own. It's not going to be that same amount, $20.
Right.
So you have to find ways and means to either increase the amount of money that you are getting, so that in case of anything, you are covered some way, somehow,
Right.
so that you'll be able to provide.
Right.
So it's like, it's not because people grow, human grow, that is life. Like, you cannot be, I'm getting $20 and that is
that's
to
be
be
stuck
enough
there.
for an additional person that has been in your life.
Right.
So one key thing about marriage, relationship, all is knowing where money starts. Even it's just mere friendship,
Right.
knowing how to deal with money. I borrow money from you, it's friendship, so you have to give the
You
money
have to
back.
pay back.
And if you have to add a little bit of interest to it, not like you're going to tell the person I add interest, but give the person back the money with a little bit of change. Oh, thank you for sorting me out on this. It builds that trust and that love, and it keeps the bond stronger.
Right.
So because most relationship, most families that got broken, one of them is money. So
Right.
understanding that money is a key factor in relationship and is a key thing in life that we have to know how to handle and how to deal with among ourselves. It will go a long way and will help the
Yeah.
relationship to prosper.
And just to add on to that, because finances is a huge deal. It's a make or break of a lot of relationships, should I say? But I remember when I got married, one of my sisters in UK, she said something that you have to discuss finances and know where you stand, so that you won't overspend or do things outside the comfort of your marriage, because you know your financial stance, and then you know maybe your friends like traveling and spending money, or just love these fancy dinners and doing extra stuff. So you have to know the strength of your finances. Number one, you have to know your strength as of your finances with your partner, so that like you don't put a burden on your partner, but you bring something to the table as well, so that if you want to do your extravagant activities or buy certain things. Oh, girls, we love clothes, shoes, food, and all that stuff. You make sure that you are doing it properly in a way that it is not becoming a burden to the household or to the person. Because at the end of the day, your partner is also an individual that
Definitely.
they have their own needs. They also have their friends and things that they want to do. You have your friends, you have your things that you want to do, and nobody wants to be broke. Everybody wants to have money and wants to make sure that things in the house are running well, your bills are paid, you are not in debt, and things of that nature. So they have to be addressed. So that was one good advice that I received, and I think it's worked perfectly for us, because we know, like, how far we can go, what our limits are, and it's one of those conversations that we'll have before we go out there and splurging and doing crazy excessive things, because you have to be realistic about your finances in your house.
Definitely.
Because people outside, they have their own finances.
It's just an expectation of you, so they don't really know
Yeah.
that what actually goes on in the
In your
house.
own house. Yeah.
So we can live a life of lies, right? But when you know what your situation is like, I know how much my paycheck is,
Exactly.
so if I pretend I'm making 50 million
Yeah,
and go out there to live a life
exactly.
of 50 million, meanwhile my paycheck is just
Doesn't
1,000,
add up. Yeah.
then I am deceiving myself and it will catch up to me. So either I will start borrowing to live that life,
That kind of life. Yeah.
right? Or I will be trying to do certain things that I'm not supposed to do in order to finance that life.
Right.
But one way or the other, it will catch up to you.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing we've agreed on and we've learned when we got married, that we have to make sure that our home is secure. We have to make sure that we do things within our means. We're not going to go above and beyond when you don't have. You're not going to borrow to enjoy vacations. You're not going to borrow to fit into society, because, hey, you're just digging traps for yourself. So finance is a big deal. And I know, like, obviously we have to mingle with people,
Definitely.
relationships and stuff like that. But those things also put it on your budget, so that it doesn't overextend to a place where you can be going out and partying and, all that stuff and having good stuff, but you ain't got no food in the house. It's just, so know your budget, like what my husband says. Know your budget, know what you're capable of, and don't let people put pressure on you because you still gotta go home and deal with your situation.
This is the life that we live. It's like and I always say, and it's like the circle of friends, of people that you keep around you too. If I come to you and I pretend I have a billion amount of money in my account, you expect me to live that life, and that is what your friends expect of you.
Right.
But expectations are everywhere. In as much as we try to talk about don't create a great or higher expectation of people, like that is what it is. The first impression matters, because it's like as soon as they see you, they expect you to look certain way, to act certain way, and they all add up. But you being able to live like a comfort life that you yourself, you are happy and proud of,
You can sleep peacefully.
Exactly. You don't
Yeah.
have to worry too much about like
Keeping up appearances.
Yes, exactly. Because you know this is my limit.
Yeah.
This is how far I can reach. This is over me. So you don't do things because you want to do it to please people. But you know
Right.
whatever you are doing, you are capable of doing.
Of handling it and holding
so,
it. Yeah.
And this remind me of like I have few people that I listen to, few people that I go when I need help, and one saying, don't borrow more than you earn or more than you have.
Yeah.
So let's say if I need money, but me myself, let's say I have 1,000, right?
Yeah.
Don't go and borrow 5,000
I know. It's gonna take you a long time to pay back.
because you don't have it. You don't have
Yeah.
it. So when you borrow that 5,000, it works in certain situations. There are some situations that you can borrow more than that, like like maybe buying a house and all
Getting
of
a
these
loan
things.
and all that
It's
stuff,
like
big
not just every loan. But in normal sense, don't go and borrow 5,000. Meanwhile, all your life, all you have seen is 1,000.
Right.
Right.
Or like don't get a house that you know you can't afford
You can't
to pay
afford
the
it,
rent.
exactly.
Or the
So,
mortgage, you know?
not because they
Yeah.
approve you for 500
Or
or
because
$1
your
million.
friends got a big house, then all of a sudden you have to get the same thing. Don't do it. You have sleepless nights.
Exactly. So don't borrow more than you can handle. So the best thing is knowing where you stand, your financial status, like what you bring in, then you can live on that. Like you can make adjustment based on that. How much can you afford to give to the person you are in a relationship in case they are in need, without you being worried, without you stressing about it,
Losing your
you
mind.
know? So like these are some of the things: communicating nicely, peacefully, agreeably, even if you don't understand, and then knowing how your finances stand. These two really go along. There are so many things that relationship that really based
Keep
on
it solid.
keep it running and all of that. And like from what we have heard, most people break from their relationship or from their friendship, and one of these things, mostly these two are one of like the key factors. Either something relating to money, not just marriage, but any kind of relationship in general, is something relating to money. Either they did something together and the money is funny, or they heard something about the other person, but they couldn't really explain it or express themselves. Like, I heard this, and or you did something to the other person, but you couldn't really explain yourself that much. So these are the two. Some of the two. There are other, but these two hold a big part in how friendship, relationship, marriage, courtship, everything, how they stand or they fail. So knowing how to deal with these two, there are so many things, but knowing how to deal with these two, it will enhance that friendship.
And then another factor too that I would like to add, that will keep a relationship solid, between your spouse and you, or with your friends, with your family. Do your best to stay interested, to put in effort, because the moment you are not interested, that play in that person or that thing, something else takes its place, you know, and that's a dangerous place, because then it goes to you not communicating with the person because you're communicating you know, with other people, and that can create a big rift. So what we are learning is, like, make sure you take interest, because obviously when you've been together for a while, for a long time, you know, you kind of run out of things to say sometimes. So you have to actually find activities to do together that make your relationship exciting. You have to take initiative to go out, you know, date, I don't know, go for walks if you're broke, whatever the case is.
It helps.
Spend time together.
Well, going for walk is not for the broke people. It's healthy
just
too.
Making a joke. No, I'm saying, like, don't use the fact that, okay, let's say maybe you don't you're not financially, you know, there at that time to do maybe what other people do as an excuse to kind of not cultivate. You have to take, you know, initiative.
Yeah.
You know, you could do, like, I'm just giving, like, taking walks that you could take a date, like, in the park, or walk in the street, go get ice cream or something, whatever the case is. But whatever it is, just find activities to do together. Play a game, watch TV, but don't be in that situation where one person lives a completely separate life from the other person. Because at the end of the day, if you do that, you end up as roommates.
That's true.
I'm just throwing it out there. It's unfortunate, but we live in a society where people are so busy. So if you don't take care, one person completely creates a life outside, and another person has a different life. So if you don't take interest and initiative to keep everything going, you might end up being strangers.
That's true.
So today we have tackled building a solid relationship, learn to communicate, and the second one was
finances, your money.
Yeah, finances, your money together, your money separately, whatever, and however
just
you
know
handle
where
it.
you stand when it comes to money.
Yeah, your budget and all that stuff. And thirdly, taking initiative and staying interested in your partner or in the relationship that you wish to cultivate. Hopefully this was helpful. And if you have any questions, leave comments. Like, share, subscribe, send to a lot of people so that other people can also benefit and leave their notes as well. As we learn, we share. And we hope to also learn from you guys. We love you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.